And we are live. I got to tell you, folks, today's show is why I do this. I am very excited to get into today's show. There's a lot of very serious topics to talk about, a lot of really good information that you're really going to want. You're going to enjoy this show, but it's going to motivate you. Let's do this. All right, let's start out with a big happy birthday to Kim. It's her birthday today. I just caught that in the chat. Folks, if you're watching this, especially on replay, make sure that chat panel's open. The conversations and stuff going on over there in chat are priceless. I mean, this is a community show. They will be expanding on, they'll usually be ahead of me when we're talking about things. You really want that chat panel open. Let's just set the stage for what we're going to talk about throughout the show. Donald Trump posted this, and talking about the fact that it's a community show and the folks in the chat are part of the show. Tell me what's wrong here. Donald Trump says the Biden FBI placed 274 agents into the crowd on January 6th. If this is so, which it is, a lot of very good people will be owed big apologies. What a scam. Do something, President Donald J. Trump. Can anybody tell me what is wrong with this statement? Immediately jumps out at you. I mean, I realize it's all bullshit, but I mean, immediately what jumps out at you? Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Who was president on January 6th? Yeah, I knew y'all knew it. I knew y'all knew it. I knew y'all knew it. Who was president on January 6th and therefore in control of the FBI? Yeah, sure as hell wasn't Joe Biden. Remember that what the whole January 6th dust up was about? It was about Donald Trump wanting to stay in office. He was still in office. He was the president of the United States. If the FBI did anything, they did it on his watch. Has not a damn thing to do with Joe Biden. That man is demented. He does not remember that he was president of the United States on January 6th. He is demented. He is gone. George Allen, thank you for always being here, brother. Yeah. I mean, he is just pudding for brains. He sat there on a phone and wrote that up. Did not remember he gave a big speech right before that happened, that he was still the president, that that the Secret Service had to prevent him from going to the Capitol with the crowd because they couldn't protect him there because the local, the local PD had already identified that several members in that crowd were armed. And yeah, we found out that the FBI did respond because this went on for hours and hours and hours. And the FBI director sent agents down there to try to calm things down. They weren't there initially. They were sent as a response to what was going on there. You remember how many hours this went on without a response from the White House? You remember him sitting in the White House watching this on television, getting a stiffy? Yeah. Everything they do, they remind us of his incompetence and what a sorry human being Donald Trump is. He has lost his damn mind. And we're going to have a couple clips. I hate to listen to this guy speak, but it's important to set the tone for the rest of the show. We're going to watch a few clips from him right here. New West Bill, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you. And I do apologize. A couple of them are going to come out of Threads. Threads has the worst. They have the worst user interface. So just bear with me. Just bear with me. Diamond Breed Garage, thank you for always being here, brother. Thank you. So yeah, Trump said this ridiculous thing. He was all butthurt because he wanted that Nobel Prize bad, man. He wanted it bad. He'd been lobbying for it. He called the leader of Norway. Folks, the government of Norway has nothing to do with the Nobel Prize Committee. Nothing at all. But, dummy here calls the leader of Norway saying he really deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. We all know a wonderful activist from Venezuela won the Nobel Peace Prize. Dumbass Donnie couldn't take it. He couldn't handle it.
The person who actually got the Nobel Prize called me and said, I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it. That a very nice thing to do. I didn't say then give it to me though. I think she might have. She was very nice, and I've been helping her along the way. They need a lot of help in Venezuela. It's a basic disaster. So, and you could also say it was given out for 24, and I was running for office in 24. All of the trend.
Yeah, that didn't happen. He didn't receive a phone call from the recipient saying that he was responsible. I mean, he should have won it. That man is demented. He is insane. He is insane. Just completely insane. Ron, thank you for the support. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Can't do it without you, folks. Could not do this full time without you. I'm truly grateful. But yeah, and forgive me again, this is from Threads, and we're going to have to bounce around a little bit. Just stick with me, okay? But yeah, he also said
We've got it under control. They had 4,000 people murdered.
He's talking about Chicago. Roll it.
We're heading to Chicago because we want to save Chicago. Do you know they had over 4,000 people killed in Chicago over a short 4,000 people? And I have to watch this slob of a governor stand up and say that, well, everything's okay. We've got it under control. They had 4,000 people murdered.
No, he said we had 4,000 people murdered over a very short period of time in Chicago. Therefore, they have to invade an American city and send troops in. It's just bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Last year, in 2024, they had 573 homicides in the Chicago area. You're talking about a metro area of over 10 million people. There were 573 homicides in the when you talk about Chicago, you have to talk about the metro area. They had 573 homicides, not 4,000, not even close. This year, they're on track to have far less than that. They had 331 homicides. 331. That's just a matter of fact. It's just statistical fact. It's on par with what goes on here in Texas, in Florida, in New York, everywhere. It's on par with everyone else. And then he insults Governor Pritzker when this guy has absolute shit for brains. He's the president of the United States. He has access to information like no one else. If that man wants to know something, he has staffs upon staffs upon staffs upon staffs upon staffs upon staffs all throughout the organization that he is supposed to be running but isn't, that provides him with information. Folks, if you went back for the last decade in Chicago, they have not had 4,000 homicides. They haven't. This is just insane. He is just putting for frickin' brains. One second. Lost my clip. Let me pull up the next one. 1 second. You know what? I'm not gonna delay the show. I had another clip of him where in that same press conference, he reiterated the insanity from Portland. I'm sick of hearing his voice anyways. It's a good thing. I'm sick of hearing his voice anyway. But he reiterated the insanity about what he said from Portland, but he got more detailed about it. He says he's seeing fires from Portland all the time. He said that he's seeing buildings burn down, and the people there, their businesses are burned out, and when they rebuild them, they don't even put windows in them. They put plywood up because they know it's just going to be ripped down. The man is insane. He is insane. Jordan says, why doesn't that video look like Dr. Oz was there to change Trump's catheter? No shit, man. The people around Trump, we're in a rudderless ship. We are in a completely rudderless ship with each and every individual cabinet member running their own directions. You want a good example of that? We talked about Argentina. We talked about the bailout of Argentina. Why we shouldn't have been bailing out Argentina, because everything they did in Argentina was self-inflicted. They did this to themselves. They made specific choices that caused this collapse. But hey, Scott Bessent, am I right? You've got Scott Bessent there, who's running the Treasury Department, that's making the decisions on these, not Trump, going out there. So why are we bailing out Argentina, who is, meanwhile, again, our farmers are not selling any soybeans to China, but Argentina is. So we give them $20 billion. They screw our farmers by dropping their export taxes so they can sell more soybeans to China. So why did we do it? Well, this is a good reason. This is a good reason, I guess. If you're Scott Bessent, your bestie, your lifelong pal, your best friend for decades, Rob Citron, is invested ass deep in Argentina. He's invested ass deep in Argentina. He's going to lose a freaking fortune if Argentina is allowed to go through what it should have gone through because of the decisions they made in their own economy. The willful decisions they made. Oh, no, but we can't let Rob, we can't let Rob lose money. Jeremy Breeden, it's a big reach to expect MAGA to understand per capita data. Yeah, they're morons. They're useless. They are useless. You know what? On that subject, y'all asked me to talk about the Purple Revolution. Folks, I'm going to tell you, it's bullshit. If you don't know, the Purple Revolution is you got a bunch of MAGA that are realizing they've been had. Shit's getting bad enough. The economy's getting bad enough. They're losing their businesses. There's several things we're going to talk about today where MAGA's just getting killed. They're just getting destroyed. Their businesses are getting wiped out. And some of them are like, well, we shouldn't have done that. But none of them are going through the mental process that's required to not continue to be that victim. None of them. The Purple Revolution is not real. It's just not a thing. All they're looking for is the next Republican to vote for. They haven't learned shit. So no, I'm not on board with this whole, there's a Purple Revolution thing. No, there isn't. These people still have their own identity, and their identity tells them they're Republicans and superior. Because they're Republicans, they're superior to you and me and everybody else. They are not giving up on that. Georgia, the highest murder rate, Jackson, Mississippi. Yep. There are cities all over the South that have much higher murder rates than Chicago. Cults don't operate on logic ever. Correct. Correct, Mr. Edmund. Correct. Thank you for being here, sir. I am truly grateful. But it's not just Bessent that's running around doing his own thing. this happens. Remember during the shutdown, you know what? Before I pull this up, let's talk about this. Shutdown happens. What did the Republicans do? They did out loud in front of the American people what they always do. They threatened to hurt Americans. We're going to lay people off. We're going to not pay people. We're not going to pay the military. They were proud and loud about it. They're going to hold the gun to the head of the American people and dare Democrats to not vote to reopen the government and give Republicans everything they want. Everything. Democrats, you get nothing. We get everything we want, and you suck it up or we're going to hurt the American people. This is what I mean by not only are we on a rudderless ship with no president because he has dementia and his mind is gone, he has pudding for brains, but everybody they have appointed are idiots. They are idiots. They are fools. They cannot big picture anything. This happened. They immediately backpedaled on paying the military. Pentagon Pete gets Trump order to pay troops despite shutdown. Why? Look at the highlight there. Trump issued the order after footage of soldiers lining up at a food bank went viral online. They don't understand anything, the ramifications of anything. This is the video they're talking about that went viral. This, folks, this is Harker Heights. That's outside Fort Cavazos. It used to be Fort Hood. It's Fort Cavazos. It was Fort Cavazos. They've renamed it again. But still, I think currently today it's still Fort Cavazos. It's in the renaming. I'll have to check on that to see if they've got it renamed yet. But these are soldiers at one of our largest military institutions, one of our largest bases, lined up at a food bank to get food because they're not getting paid.
As I take a step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previously?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was.
Yeah. I wonder why there's so many more people. And yes, they did. They actually ran out of food. They did. I saw your comment, by the way. Randy Oliver. Yeah, they did. They ran out of food. Harker Heights. Right here in Texas. That's where our armored trains. Largest military bases in the country. They have no clue that your average soldier is scraping paycheck to paycheck if they're making it paycheck to paycheck. They have no clue. They have no clue what it means when they lay off federal employees. They are just clueless, ignorant idiots. They live in an echo chamber that's full of fantasies, and they have no clue that the things Scott Bessent, let's just give Argentina $20 billion. So Argentina screwed our farmers with it because he had no clue what Argentina would do with that money. Pete Hegseth had no clue how this would affect military families. None whatsoever. Connie Leiden, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. It's every aspect of this government. RFK over at the CDC. This is how it started. CDC is over. RFK Jr. lays off over 1,000 employees in Friday Night Massacre. Yeah. They threatened to do it. They said, oh, you Democrats don't give us everything we want in this shutdown negotiation. We're going to hurt people. We're going to hurt people. And they did, man. They did. True to their words. They hurt Americans. They hurt people in our government. They laid people off. But again, they have no clue. They had no idea what they did. No clue whatsoever what they did. Kirsta 007 Mil, thank you for being here. Now is the time, if you're able to stock up on water, non-perishables, and garden seeds and supplies for next year. Yes, because we are heading into some serious economic trouble, folks. Serious economic trouble. Shortness 3000, thank you for being here. This is a reality TV presidency based on optics with no substance. Absolutely. 100%. Narrative is everything. Marie Crabtree, how do we keep Qatar from building a base on our soil? You know, I put a video about that, Marie. I tell you what, let's pause the show for a second. Let me address that. Mountain Home. Folks, we have been training foreign pilots forever. They're not building a base. They're not. They're adding facilities onto our base. The base is called Mountain Home. It's in Idaho. It's our base. It's not their base. They don't own it. It's just like it's exactly like Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. That is not our base. It is not our base. Yet it is the forward command for CENTCOM in the region. Yeah, but it's not our base. We just built facilities there and we operate out of it. We have trained foreign pilots forever. Shepherd Air Force Base, we're training pilots. You know, we've got a lot of people in this audience that are military. They can tell you over and over again. We train pilots from Singapore. We train pilots from Saudi Arabia. We train pilots from Albania. We train pilots from Greece. If we sell them the weapons, if we sell them the planes, we bring them here and train them how to use it. What you're seeing about this base online is a distraction, and it's clickbait. It is clickbait. Now, Qatar, there's a lot of arguments to be made. That, yeah, they absolutely funded Hamas, but yeah, Kuwait too. Jennifer Johnson's there. We train Kuwaiti pilots also. But yeah, there's a lot of arguments to be made about Qatar, but they do cooperate with us. One of our largest bases in the Middle East is in Qatar, not Israel, Qatar. Qatar is actually more cooperative with us as a nation than Israel is. So yeah, it's not insane that they have a training wing at one of our bases. It's just not. Brian Schultz, blue dot in a sea of red here. Bring it on. Glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here. I hope that answers your question, Marie. I know a lot of people were very worried, rightfully so. If they had just been building a base, if we just had, you know, what's next? The Russians going to build a base here? I mean, I understand, you know, the fact that our government, you know, peak keg breath, couldn't put his booze down long enough to do a decent job of explaining this to the American people. But no, Qatar is not building their own base here. That's not happening. They're paying for lodging. They're paying for upgrades at Mountain Home, but it's still ours. They can pay to build them, but we own them. Veggie Owl Girl got rid of the entire Washington office, 70 scientists, epidemic intelligence officers, and bird flu on the way. Yeah, somebody reached out to them and explained just how stupid that was. It started with, oh, the CDC is dead. That's how it started. Well, this is how it's going. This is how it's going. Trump administration is bringing back scores of CDC experts fired in error. We made a mistake. Really? You would think if something as important as the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, the Center for Disease Control, you would think that they would take a moment to make sure that they weren't firing important people. You know, that you would think they would think that through. But not this administration, because they've got each and every cabinet member running off, doing their own damn thing. And none of them are very competent people. Well, competent at all, actually. Yeah, read the highlighted part. Officials said the mistaken dismissals were being rescinded. Yeah. Friday, they fired everybody. Just told everybody, emails, you're laid off. Go home. You're out of here. Saturday, they're on the phone. Hey, could you come back to work? We made a terrible mistake. Can you mind coming back to work? I mean, how idiotic, how stupid. This is the way they do things. They're just this incompetent, this stupid. Katie Mully, thank you for being here. Your delivery of knowledge is comforting. Thank you. I appreciate it. You make it to where I can do it. Your support is the only reason I can do this. I'm truly grateful. I am truly grateful. New supporter, and I'm truly grateful to have you here. Agent Cajun John, I'm concerned that the U.S. dollar is collapsing. It is. It's already slid 11%. In just, folks, we're 10 months in. Not even a full 10 months in. Won't be a full 10 months into the 21st. And it's already slid 11%. I'm concerned that the U.S. dollar is collapsing. Cryptocurrency is dropping by the billions. We are in trouble. You think, John? You think? I mean, you really think we're in trouble? I think people are just starting to figure that out that have been Trump sycophants. Gregory Deckelman, economic trouble. Didn't some folks fight a revolution over that to start this country? So I am to believe this is what MAGA wants, a revolution? Yeah. They're idiots. MAGA are morons. They just are. New West Bill, thank you for being here again, brother. In almost 70 years of life, I have never seen anyone set themselves up for failure so perfectly. That's what did I tell you? What did I tell you? When this first started happening, they started doing these awful things. It's like Chicago. They're going to send 300. They're going to take 300 of my Texas brothers and sisters. They're going to rip them out of their jobs, their everyday lives, because they're guard members. Remember, they're guard members, not active duty military. They're going to rip them out of their jobs as teachers, as, whatever these people are doing for a living. They're going to pull them out of that, take them away from their family, 300 of them, and they're going to send them to Chicago without doing the paperwork on it, by the way. They're getting killed in court. The judges have said you can't do this because Texas can't invade Illinois. This has to be done properly, and they didn't do it properly. They're trying to put the shit back in the horse and get that done right. But folks, it's 300 National Guard members with no mission just showing up in Chicago. Again, a metropolitan area of 10 million people. I'm not that concerned. Yes, the spectacle is what they're looking for. Yes, it's wrong. Yes, it's stupid. All of that. Totally agree. But am I concerned? No, I'm not. I've told you from the beginning, these are incompetent people. They're going to do awful shit like this. They are, but they're going to fail. The whole 2025 project was meant to make them seem inevitable. But with time, we will stop them. We will correct this. And then when we take power back, we will fix it. We will. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But that doesn't mean some shitty things aren't going to happen. Jordan, RFK Jr. is a heroin addict. What else should we expect? I don't know if you're never not an addict anymore. I don't know if he's still using or not, but yeah, he's not. This is not America's best. This guy is dumber than dog shit. Vincent Day, thanks for sharing your knowledge, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Ooh, tummy grumbling. Ooh, sorry. Hope that didn't come through the mic. That was a loud tummy grumble. Oh, then this happened. As if the economy wasn't in bad enough shape, Trump all got up in his feels again. Slaps 100% tariff on China imports, adds export controls on critical software. And of course, that's what caused the Dow to absolutely crash on Friday. And then one of the billionaire oligarchs will get a hold of him and explain to him why he shouldn't do that. Problem is, again, you can't unring that bell. China has had enough, and they are on the move, folks. They really are on the move. George Allen, wait till ice faces the ice and wind in Chicago. No shit. Looking forward to that. We're going to come back to ice here in just a little bit, but I want to talk about China for a second. They immediately retaliated, expanded more elements that they're not allowing, that they pretty much will 100% have a monopoly on, that are absolutely critical to electronics production, the defense industry, the electronics industry, the automotive industry. Yeah, we're screwed, man. They're the only ones that got it. And they said no more. They've created an entire new layer of bureaucracy, so much so that it's not even the ore or processed ore or just the minerals in general. If a product is made in China with a list of, there's about 8 minerals on here, ytterbium, gallium, etc. If it's made in China by a foreign company, you must have a permit and permission specifically for that item from the Chinese government now for it to be exported. Not even just the materials. If you build it in China, if you make it in China, you must have their permission to export that product out of China. China plays the long game, folks. They play the long game. And yes, they're getting killed in this as bad as we are. They really are. Jordan, Trump will taco out, China won't. That's exactly where I'm going with this. I love you folks so much. You're always so ahead of it. That's exactly where I was going with this. Trump's going to chicken out over this. He is. The economy's taken a beating over this, and China has had enough. They're not making nicey nice anymore. They're actually getting more and more and more hardcore over this stuff. I mean, they've been doing things like this. The parent company of Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger, their parent company is a corporation called PVH. PVH. They are on what's been newly created called the unreliable entity list. And folks, this is how serious China is about this. China is not tacoing out about this, okay? This is how serious China is about this. They have created the unreliable entity list. And you know how Trump blackmails people? Like, we're going to talk about colleges here in just a minute. But you know how Trump blackmails people and says, if you don't do what I want, we're going to withhold your funding and we're going to this, that, and the other. Well, China's gone next level with it, with this unreliable entities list. If there's a dispute between the United States and China, and the United States sets a regulation or a law, and a company wants to do business in China, and they adhere to the American law in the dispute with China, China will put you on the unreliable entities list and kick your ass out of the country. You will not be able to manufacture there. They are dead serious about this. They've kicked LinkedIn out. LinkedIn, the website, boom, gone, out. The unreliable entities list. Keep track of that, folks. That is a list that people are deathly afraid of being on, but it goes even farther than that. Brian Peacher, thank you. Your country is in deep trouble. Dems must vote in the midterms. Hopefully America does not lose its soul. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. Couldn't have said it any better. If you're an engineer or you're into manufacturing, you understand who ISO is. It's the International Organization of Standards. It's a non-governmental organization. What they do is it's in the name. They set standards. They operate in every major country on earth. And what they do is they make sure, everything that's manufactured, if it's manufactured, like medical equipment, words matter. Words and definitions of words matter. What ISO does is they work with organizations within every individual country to set those words to have the same exact standards. I'm talking everything from medical equipment to crayons to, art, like I said, art supplies, everything, everything. The standard for what the measurement is, the standard for, what we call, words like toxicity or carcinogen. ISO sets the standards on what that means. Where do you think that has been coming from? What's the power behind that? Where are those definitions? Where have they been being written? You're a smart audience. Let's do this. Where do you think the influence behind ISO, where do you think it comes from? Michael Walker. The one of a few good things I can say is that Trump and his invincibility is completely shattered and the MAGA spell is dissipating, albeit slowly. Unfortunately, it also means the U.S. power is sapped. Yeah, he is definitely hurting us globally. We're going to have so much work to do. So much cleanup to do. Hell, you got Marjorie Trader Green out there again. I don't have that clip for you, but it's out there on social media. Marjorie Trader Green went for another round, sat on another podcast talking about we're screwed. We're screwed, and it's our fault. It's the Republicans' fault. She will not mention Trump by name. She knows better than that. But she went on a whole diatribe again. I'm telling you, man, it's happening. Jordan, Trump is bragging about his TikTok deal, and China is not going to say. They are going to put Barron Trump on the board of TikTok. Yeah. They're going to put Barron Trump on the board of TikTok. We got about 500,000 people in a community on TikTok, and it may go away. It may go away. If I'm not kicked off, I may voluntarily leave TikTok. If think about that, folks. Why would Barron Trump be on the board of TikTok? He's 19, 20 years old. He's a kid. He's a child. He has nothing to offer. Nothing to offer. He is there because he's going to be his daddy's blackmail piece. Sherry Purpura, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. He's going to collect a no-show paycheck is what he's going to do. But yeah, talking about the economy, this is happening. And what I mean by, commerce, nobody in Treasury, commerce and Treasury are responsible for this. And there is no leadership. Y'all heard about the repeal of the de minimis exemption. We talked about that in a previous show. Just let me recap. If a package that you ordered from overseas was worth under $800 in value, it sailed right through. They didn't bother with it. It just sailed right through. It had an exemption. It's called the de minimis exemption. They just didn't mess with it. And Trump said, oh no. Again, these people, they've got shit for brains. They can't big picture anything at all. They said that's gone. The de minimis exemption is gone. Thank you, Christopher Daly. Now, everybody in the world screamed. I mean, you can imagine what happened, right? As soon as it was repealed, as soon as the de minimis exemption was repealed, just from an economic standpoint, postal traffic to the U.S. plunges 70% for a full 5 weeks after the end of the de minimis exemption. I mean, you get that, right? You understand it economically. Well, there are other ramifications, folks. It's not just what it does to the economy. It's a logistical nightmare. I want you to think about this. UPS alone ships about 3.2 million packages into this country every day. Every day. 3.2 million. The repeal of the de minimis exemption is hanging up about 10% of those. Yeah, because Either the paperwork's not right. Remember, this stuff used to just sail through. Now it's treated like everything that comes through our ports. It has to have the right paperwork. Everything's got to be in order. If it is not, it gets flagged. When it's flagged, they have to take that package and go put it in a warehouse. 300,000 of them a day. This is happening to with just UPS. All right. You got FedEx, you got DHL, you've got every other shipping company. But this is happening. In just a few short weeks, this is happening. UPS says, hey, this is destroying our business model, because now, not only if you look at the shifting Trump tariffs have created a nightmare for UPS, not just UPS. I hate the fact that this story just focuses on UPS. This is happening to FedEx. This is happening to DHL. This is happening to every major shipper out there. This is UPS is disposing of U.S. bound packages over customs paperwork problems. Yeah, that's really happening. That is really happening. You have people, and it's everything. This article talks about a woman that moved back to the country. She had her journals and some books that she had shipped back to herself. Gone. Just gone. Just gone. Destroyed. You know why? Because UPS can't house 300,000 packages a day. Right now, when this happens to a package, they have to contact the shipper. There's a lady that sells tea in Seattle. She's got it's not a coffee house, it's a tea house. So she orders high-end tea from around the world, from India, from Japan, her tea from Japan, gone. Destroyed. Absolutely just destroyed. UPS tried to get back in touch with the shipper. They couldn't straighten out the paperwork. And UPS said, look, this is a perishable item. I can't store this. It's gone. It's gone. This woman is trying to run a business, a small business, and it's happening all over the country. All over the country. And you want to know how stupid this is? Oh, Hillbilly Paul sitting out in the woods. I could fix this in 5 seconds. You know how you fix this? Let's say you want to do what you did with eliminating the de minimis exemption. You want everybody to pay. You know how you do it without causing this fucking nightmare? You charge $1 a package. You already charge the shippers a fee. You tack on $1 a package. The shipper's software and infrastructure is already set up to pay customs fees. There is no new infrastructure that has to be built. Your customs, our government's customs is designed to assess those fees. Nothing new would have to be built. Nothing would have to be held up. All you would have to say is all packages under $800 now have, and I just picked $1 out of the air, but just a $1 fee. That's simple. And we have none of these problems. But why do we have these problems? Because the Trump administration is full of fucking idiots that don't know how to big picture anything. They don't live in reality. They're shit posters that live on social media that don't understand the big picture about anything. It's all about narrative, not substance. If you wanted to do this exact thing that you're doing, you wanted to start tagging those packages for taxes, that's how fucking easy it would have been. UPS, we will now assess $1 for every package under $800. And UPS has a payment mechanism set up to do that. They would take that dollar fee and they would charge it. They've already got a system set up to charge the shippers, and they would have charged the shippers that $1 fee. But no, couldn't do anything smart. No. Peter Campbell, for every Republican administration, Democratic Party has to come clean up the mess. It's always a way to keep we the people from making real progress. And here we go again, only so much worse. Yep. That's why we got to stay focused, folks. We got to stay focused. We do. We have to stay focused. And it's not, it's education also. Trump has put a series of demands on colleges all over the country. You become right-wing indoctrination organizations, or we're not going to give you any federal money. Gavin Newsom responded with, hey, if you do what he's telling you to do, we won't give you any state money here in California. But you know what? These institutions nationwide are saying, look, this shit's not going to work. Just not going to work. And MIT is the first of what I'm assured will be a long line of institutions to tell Trump to go fuck himself and take his federal money and shove it right up his ass. Yeah. MIT said, screw you, buddy. We don't need your money. We're not going to do it. And nobody thought this through. Nobody running the education department thought this through. Department of Education. Do you think when they put that stupid wrestler moron in charge of our Department of Education that she had the cognitive ability? Linda McMahon, do you think she had the cognitive ability to think this out? No. You know what she's just done? You know who does give federal money to their universities? Every one of our competitors. MIT is one of the reasons we are so innovative, why we're competitive. And they just ended that. Now, we as a nation have to compete with China, who highly funds their universities. We have to compete with England and Germany and France, and everyone else funds their universities. Not us. We are always playing catch up because of Republicans. Always. Daniel Dibburn, thank you for being here. Is it Dibburn or Dibburn? I want to pronounce your name correctly. Let me know if you can phoneticize it out in the chat. Don't fly, don't ship, don't vote, don't protest. Land of the free, right? Well said, sir. Well said. Well said. I told you, they're going to screw this up. They're going to screw it up and screw it up badly. Only problem is that, there's a lot that is going to happen between now and when we take power back. It is, they're just shit that's happening. Like I said, we had Portland. Let me lift you up a little bit. This is great. This is Angelita Murillo. She's on the Portland City Council. This was her response to Kristi Noem's statement about Portland. You're going to love this. I love her already. This is all I've ever seen of her. And I absolutely love this person. She just nailed it.
Claims whether there is terrorism and whether you're helping Antifa cover it up.
You know
what? Let me pause that for a second. I want you to really listen to what the CNN anchor asks. And tell me this just doesn't tell you exactly how fucked up things are here. He asks this question not ironically.
Claims whether there is terrorism and whether you're helping Antifa cover it up.
You know, I never thought that renowned puppy killer Christy Nome would be so afraid of protesters wearing frog costumes and chicken costumes, but here we are. Our city provided very classic dignitary protections for dignitaries that come into our city. It was nothing out of the norm. We were not hiding anything. The reason she didn't see anything on the ground is because everything here is under control. People are exercising their right to free speech as they are allowed to under the Constitution, if that still matters. But no, nothing is out of control. There is no terrorism happening here. I think that they are just a very scared people.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed it. I loved it. I loved when she came out of the gate swinging, called her puppy killer. I love it. I love it. That's what we need to be doing, folks. Mock them. That CNN anchor was a fool for asking that question. He was a fool for asking that question, and he deserved the absolute humiliation that came immediately following. I love her. Her name's Angelita Murillo. We need to keep an eye on her. That's the kind of fight and fire we need in our Democratic Party. And I'm telling you, anything that woman needs, any campaign she's running on, give old Texas Paul a call. I'm there for you. I am there for you. That is what I like to see. Shaking my head. This is literally the Godfather in real life, only on an international scale. Yeah. It's amazing the difference between Democrats and Republicans. ET fan base is good. Black American owned alternative to TikTok, owned by Isaac Hayes III. Get out and vote, people. Get involved with your local sim. Yeah, Dems. Amen, brother. Thank you, ET. Thank you for always being here. I'm truly grateful. Good point. But yeah, that's what we have to do. Mock them. Point out the stupidity of everything they are doing. And speaking of stupidity, this just happened. They really, they know they're in trouble. They know they're in trouble. And the whole Charlie Kirk thing, man, they really rode that whole, oh my God, we're a victim. We're victims. We're victims. Oh my God, the left is coming to kill all of us. Then turned out to be a little conservative kid from Utah that they arrested for that. Tyler Robertson. Yeah. Groyper, Nick Fuentes follower, right winger, one of yours. But you know what? It got them right wingers to forget that the economy was shitty for just a little bit. Got the farmers to forget that they were losing their farms for just a little bit. For a few days, those Republicans were all 100%. Now let's kumbaya, hug each other. Oh my God, it's us against them. And they are trying so desperately to recreate that because it went away like a fart in a hurricane. Because, reality. But so they want to try to recreate this. So Karen Bondi gets together and has a press conference with Benny Johnson. If you don't know who Benny Johnson is a right-wing shit poster that he was one of the ones that got caught taking money from Russia to spread Russian propaganda. Yeah, he was one of those. But this happened.
And I'm proud. And on September 10th, our nation stopped in its tracks with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We miss him dearly. Unfortunately, I'm here today to talk about similar threats that were made against Benny Johnson and his wife, Kate. Benny's a well-known media personality carrying a message very similar to Charlie's, grounded largely in faith and love of country. Just days after Charlie's assassination, Benny received a letter at his home where he and Kate are raising their beautiful, beautiful young family. The author of this letter made it very clear that he hated Benny because of his views, and he wanted Benny dead. This was a coward hiding behind a keyboard who thought he could get away with this. That's why
Okay, you get the idea, right? You get the idea. Benny Johnson's going to get on and beep, beep, beep here for a minute, and I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to listen to it. You shouldn't have to listen to it. Let me tell you something, folks. There's a lot of people that say, hey, Texas Paul, I want to do what you do. How do I do it? And I always tell them, start talking. Start talking. You got to sit down with people for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you've got to be able to speak on subjects in a way that you keep their attention and you teach them something and you get them engaged and they learn something and you give them something of value. That's part of it. You know what the other part of it is? Death threats. If you want to do what I do or Benny Johnson, you get death threats. That is part of it. It's wrong. It's shitty, but it is. This is one of the ones that came into me not that long ago. Oh, Bob Keel here says, I hope you and your family are slaughtered by real bigots. And apparently he thinks I ate someone of a human being that was with diminished mental capabilities. I hope you and your family are slaughtered by real bigots. You ate a retard, is what he said. I'm sure he said you are, but you get the idea. Not the brightest bulbs in the box, but yeah, that's normal. That's normal. I delete those damn near daily. Damn near daily. You know, you get guys all up in their feels, all up in their feels, like Brandon here. Brandon says, if I see you when I'm in Texas, it's mutual combat on sight. Fuck you, Texas Paul Schroeder. Yeah, they get up in their feels. They really do. They really do. This guy, I can't tell if this guy wants to hurt me or date me. Y'all have to tell me. Y'all have to tell me. Does this guy want to hurt me or does he want to date me? I'm not sure. I'm just going to leave that there for a second. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but really, dude? You got to work on your threats, man. You got to work on your threats. Lonnie Johnson says, thank you for your service. No, thank you. Could not do it without you. Just could not do it without you. And of course, you know, during a whole line of threats, I get this. I get this one because, you know, I won't shut up. This guy gets, you know, this is one of those that actually doesn't sound that bad, but you have to remember this guy has actually been keeping track of the threats coming my way and then turns around and says, you looks like you're not learning. You're not getting the message. You know, that's normal. How many times have you seen me? You know, it's bullshit. You should have heard the shit that Benny Johnson said about Paul Pelosi. No, I don't think Benny Johnson should get death threats. I don't. But you should have heard the shit he said about Paul Pelosi. An elderly man that was attacked in his home, had a skull cracked with a hammer. And Benny Johnson just yucked it up over that, thought it was great. Now I got to sit here and listen to him. They threaten me. Dude, deal with it. Because if you think the shit I just showed you that gets into me, you think that's bad? Let me tell you something. It's nothing compared to what the women that do this get. And they get it a lot more often. A lot more often. There are weak, asshole, piece of shit men on the right that threaten them with the most vile shit every damn day. If you think it takes a set of balls to be me to sit up here and talk the shit I do and then go walk around in public, you should see what these women put up, like JoJo from Jers and, you know, people like that. They get the most vile, nasty shit every single day from these right-wing pieces of shit. Josh Jameson, Texas Paul is guzzling that R word adrenochrome. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. They're idiots. Rena Scott, painting yourself as a martyr today doesn't erase the evil you spewed all your life. Exactly. And it's part of it, folks. It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing, but it's part of it. It's what I'm telling you. You want to do what I do? Cool. Prepare for death threats. It's part of it. Prepare to have people send you messages where they've been trying to find your address. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of it. And these right wingers want to sit there and pretend because they desperately, man, they got all up in their feels, man. They really loved it. They did. They loved it. Governor Cox out in Utah, man, he was just every damn day out in front of a camera talking about left-wing violence, and then turned out to be a little right-winger. And you haven't heard of Governor. Have you, anybody, where is Governor Cox? He's gone. Poof, gone. The minute the narrative went away, gone. Lisa K, Donald J. Trump Jr. on board Blink RX, meeting in December with drug companies and White House officials. Plan to have online patient drug sales funneled from Blink RX through Trump RX. Yep, it's a grift all the time. They are con men. You think it's going to work? Think it's going to fly? No, this guy's bankrupted casinos. No, it's not going to work. In tune. Thank you for being here. And folks, he's dumber now than he was when he bankrupted casinos. He's lost his mental faculties. He is both physically falling apart and dying right before our eyes, and mentally has pudding for brains, cannot remember that he was president during January 6th, went and stood on a big podium out at the Ellipse, gave a big speech because he was president. Can't remember that shit. You think Trump RX is going to work? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. And you want to talk about violence and right-wing violence? Let me tell you, Judge Diane Goodstein issued a ruling, a temporary, now mind you, temporary injunction on the Trump DOJ getting all the voter data out of South Carolina, because that's what the DOJ is doing. Is for some reason, the DOJ is collecting all your data. Yeah. Remember when right-wingers used to be against stuff like that? Back, what was it, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? But now that Trump's doing it, they can't stop licking the taint. Remember when they used to be against stuff like that? Well, Judge Diane Goodstein issued a temporary injunction and said, hey, wait a minute. States handle elections. States handle elections. What are you doing? Why do you need this? We're going to hold a hearing and you're going to explain why you need this data. That's all she did. That's all she did. I mean, no groundbreaking thing. Temporary injunction said, no, you can't have it. And we're going to have to have a hearing. We're going to have a hearing and you're going to have to explain why you need it. And because she did that, Stephen Miller went all over the news and talked about how awful these judges were and how they hated America and yada yada. You've heard it all out of Pee Wee German and the shit he says. And then her house blew up. Judge Goodstein's house blew up. She started getting threats, death threats immediately, all kinds of threats. And then her house blows up. And it was just this. This is all she did. This is all she did before the death threats started coming in. She just said, hey, why do you need all our data? Addresses, phone numbers, shit like that. Why do you need all that? We need to have a hearing and discuss why you need it before I make the state's election boards give it to you. That was it. Literally, all she did was that. And you've got Benny Johnson sitting up there with the Attorney General of the United States. I got a death threat. Yeah, that sucks, dude. It sucks. Ask anybody that deals with large audiences. They all get them. It's part of it. It's a fucked up part of our society. But this woman's house was blown up. Let me ask you something. Have you seen the tweets from Kash Patel talking about this? Where he was sitting pumping information. You know, when Charlie Kirk got killed, Kash Patel was sitting there pumping information out, tweets out all the time because he's nothing but a right-wing shit poster, talking about it continuously. A judge had their house blown up. You would think that would concern the director of the FBI. Crickets. Nothing. Remember how they were all like, we're going to use every bit of our authority and everything we have, and we're going to throw it at this Charlie Kirk thing because it is just the end of America. Hello? They just blew up a judge's house. Her husband had to jump out a window. Her son had to jump out a window. They ended up in a hospital with critical injuries. Crickets. Nothing. J.D. Christie, Rutgers professor of anti-fascism, chased out of the U.S. by death threats. Familiar. Actually, he was prevented from leaving. Yeah. He was prevented. He got to the airport. They wouldn't let him leave. Because our government told the Spanish government he was a danger. So he ended up on a list in Spain where he was going. Yeah. Lonnie Johnson now is bankrupting a country mine. I don't know what you mean by that, Lonnie. I have to look that one up, brother. John Gomez, we got you back. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for supporting me. I mean, Catherine Sophocatus, I appreciate you. My Greek people in the house. I'm getting that right. That is Greek, right? But yeah, come on, folks. Come on. It's things like this. This is just freaking heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Let me tell you about Subramanyam Vidam. Subramanyam Vidam. Say that fast 3 times. He goes by Subu, so that's what we're going to call him. Subu spent 43 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. Yeah. He was sent to jail because of prosecutorial malfeasance. And the Innocence Project he got the conviction overturned, and the prosecutors declined to re-prosecute the case. What they did was they went with a local examiner that said, oh, well, this looks like the wound from a .25 caliber. And didn't your guy own a .25 caliber at one point? And they presented that to both the jury and the grand jury. What they didn't present was they also had the FBI take a look at this. And the FBI sent a report that said, not a .25 caliber. The entry wound is too small. Couldn't be a .25 caliber. Which that's a pretty small caliber. But the FBI said, no. And they took that report, and never handed it over in discovery. Never told the jury. I need that notebook. Sorry. Never told the jury, never told the grand jury, never told the defense that that's what the FBI concluded. None of that. None of it. They just sent him to prison for 43 years. Thank you, Texas Diva. I appreciate you. I do. Got me a fresh cup of coffee here. Thank you. Oh, man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. That is banging. Woo! That's going to get me through this. Yeah, moment of silence. So good news, he gets released after 43 years. I mean, he was in his early 20s when that happened. His entire life. I mean, just let that soak in for just a second. His entire life. He was in his 20s. He's in his 60s now. Gone. Because a prosecutor wanted a case. You would think that's as bad as it gets, right? Nope. See, he was an immigrant. He was an immigrant. And when you commit a crime like that as an immigrant, one of the things that the courts automatically do is issue an order of deportation should you ever get released. They don't let you get released back into public. Once you get released from prison serving your term, you get deported. Well, you can imagine what happened next, right? And yes, he is in bad shape. He has vascular dementia. Yeah. Subu is not in good shape. His life, we took his life from him. That prosecutor took his life from him. Susan Brinkhouse, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for letting me do this full time. But wait for it. The moment the prosecutor declined to prosecute, guess who was waiting for him? His family had a party put together for when he comes home, for when he was released. They were going to go pick him up and had the whole family together. And they went to pick him up and he's gone. He's gone. See, that deportation order was just enough for ICE. They just took him. It didn't matter that the deportation order, he did nothing wrong. The deportation order came as a result of an illegitimate conviction. Doesn't matter. They get a bonus. They're going to take him. So now they're going to deport that man to a country he's never known after he's lived his entire adult life in an American prison. I told you it could get worse. That's who Republicans are. That's who they are. Josh Jameson, so they violated the break. Yeah. Yeah, they did. That's who they are. He got told he was being released. And while he was standing there with his lawyer, they came in and told him, oh, by the way, ICE is here. Just put your hands out. We've got to put handcuffs on. Yeah. Joseph Galati, thank you for always being here, friend. I appreciate you. Diane Briggerage, Paul, Donald J. Trump acting like there's no mañana. Unseen for 5 days, just got workup that PTS to stroke to meds too. If we lose him, will JD act as reckless? What Diane Breed is talking about here is that Trump just had his second annual physical in a year, which was a lie, wasn't an annual physical. Every doctor is screaming about this, including the last two White House doctors have said, no, mm-mm. Nope. This was not an annual physical. They don't do complete body scans, both PET and MRIs for a physical. That doesn't happen. And they're also lying about the medication he's on. The verbiage in the report, they ripped it apart. A lot of people are speculating that he had a stroke over Labor Day. That's why he disappeared. And they're doing a follow-up scan on him to see if what the extent of the damage is. But they're lying to us about his physical condition. They're lying to us about what's happened to him. Don Dorff, thank you for such big support, Don. I really appreciate you. And yes, I agree with you. Fuck ICE. If you think, yeah, watch this. This will piss you off. This will just make you downright angry. Downright angry. I want you to imagine, as you watch this, I want you to imagine for just a second that we're in a Democratic administration. How would that administration react to what I'm about to show you? And then we'll talk about how this administration is reacting. Before I run this, I want you to know this is ICE is in Chicago. They snatched somebody up. They're in an unmarked vehicle. The driver stayed in the vehicle. They put the person in the vehicle. Because it's an unmarked vehicle, there are people, traffic is just driving by them. Just driving by them. They slam into one of the cars. They take off, cut the wheel, pull in front of a lady, and they hit. And then watch what happens.
Yeah! Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run! Hit and run! Look, hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon!
Wait for it.
Yo, watch out! What's wrong with you? You hit it! You hit her! Yo! What's wrong? You hit her! You hit her! You guys hit her! You guys hit her! What's wrong with y'all? Y'all bust a whole U-turn in the middle of the street! Y'all hit her! Y'all on camera! Leave her alone! She ain't even do shit! She trying to go to work! She's trying to go to work!
What the fuck?
Oh, what? Crazy shit. Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart.
Get off!
She's a female.
Get off of her right now!
You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her?
Get off!
You guys hit her. Man, how y'all gonna arrest her, man? Oh, bogus as fuck.
Ain't easy to watch, is it?
You hit her. You guys hit her. You guys hit her. Whole lawsuit right there.
So yeah, they threw her in the back of the vehicle and arrested her. Yeah. They hit her. She wasn't interfering. It was just traffic going down the road. They whipped out, hit her, caused an accident, and then arrested her. Drug her out of a car, flopped her on her back. If that had been Mrs. Texas Paul, I would have lost my goddamn mind. I won't even tell you what I would be doing. She did nothing. Nothing. I don't know who this person is. I am trying to find out who this person is, and we're going to find out what the hell happened here. Where she is. Has she been released? But they hit her and then arrested her. That's the comes from the leadership we have in this country. That is going viral all over the place. Could you imagine now if this had been the Obama administration or the Biden administration? There would be an investigation. She would be released. She would have an attorney. She would be suing them. She would. Rightfully so. This woman should sue the shit out of the federal government for what just happened to her. But think about that. If this was a Democratic administration versus what we have now, because you have not heard, they haven't even commented on it. Bullshit Barbie or Carolyn Levitt, nothing. Nothing. They're still trying to trump up some bullshit on her, I'm sure. They found some bullets with writing on it in her car that said, "I'm going to run into an ICE vehicle, an unmarked ICE vehicle." We all do better. There you go. Do you have thoughts on the firing of Department of Education staff for students with disabilities? What about teachers that fight for their students? Folks, they don't give a damn about people with disabilities. And they don't think through what they're doing. To them, they live under a delusion that all government is just a waste and that it's not there for a reason, that they don't really do things. They just want their Johnny Got Rocks Buroligarch tax money to pay people that don't actually do any work. That's their delusion in their head. So yeah, people with disabilities are going to be hurt over this. Teachers that teach, you're going to lose, right now in small communities, there are school districts that cannot handle children with disabilities because they don't have the resources. It's just going to get worse. It's going to spread all over the country. It's who they are. I'm not telling you that it's not going to be ugly and that there aren't going to be problems. I'm just telling you that we are going to fix this. We are going to take over. We're going to take charge. We are going to fix this. People have seen enough stupid bullshit. LJ Jones, thank you for being here. Appreciate you, brother. And I do want to thank you, moderators. I appreciate all you're doing. I really do. I really do. I've noticed that y'all have taken care of a troll or two today. I appreciate it. The right-wingers are deathly scared of what we're talking about. And we got more to talk about. Hang in there, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. We were clicking up on almost 4,000 people in here. Let's keep it rolling. Thank the people. I'm truly grateful to you moderators for doing such a good job. Tiny Dog Dragon, I do not know my country anymore. Innocent people terrorized by goons and deported after 43 years. This is sick. It is sick. It is sick. They slammed into a woman's car, then arrested her, threw her on the ground, drug her out of her car, slammed her on her back, crawled on top of her, forced her over, shackled her, threw them in a vehicle. She has no clue what's going on other than they just ran into her. She's not a target. Josh Jameson, hey, Paul, they're installing the 10 Commandments in my classroom right now. They don't want us to talk about it. Fine, but I'm posting the Bill of Rights right next. Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, okay, whatever says. Lost in the zone is the fact that Dominion voting systems has been purchased by a Trump supporter. We just talked about that in the last show. We talked about that. We did. We did. But yeah, folks, there are some serious things going on right now in this world that requires competence. Security specialists all over the world are screaming about terrorism. The things that are going on, like us cutting U.S. aid and people being, Martha, I appreciate you always being here, Martha. One of the foundational supporters of the show. I appreciate it. Mondolius, thank you. You're always here. Thank you, Mods. And I do appreciate you. I appreciate you always being here. Security experts are screaming about what's going on in various regions. And they're saying, look, we're going to start having bad and frequent terrorist attacks because of all of the things that it's highly complex, folks. You must have competent people in place to prevent these things from happening in the first place. Randy Oliver, we need Tish James as AG when we take back. Yeah, that'd be freaking great. Woo, yeah. Make Tish James Attorney General. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Give me a Democrat with an axe to grind. That's what I want. This is happening. Afghanistan says it has killed 58 Pakistani soldiers in overnight border operations. That's a reprisal, folks. Folks, Afghanistan is a mess. It is a mess. The economy's collapsed, which is, you know what happens to the population when they get desperate. And then you've got the radicals that are stepping in. There's doing nothing. The economy's collapsed. They've got no tax base. So secular schools are dying and dead. They are seeing a rash of highly radicalized madrasas just spreading all over Afghanistan. They're incredibly alarmed at the rate at which these madrasas are, these schools that deal with, not all madrasas do, okay? They don't. But these are being run by very, very, very dangerous people. And we're seeing a lot of religious indoctrination in Afghanistan. And it is spreading into violence already. Amy Manuel, can we please stop the BS talk with what we need more political parties? We just need people to back the Democratic Party. Amen, sister. Amen. So yeah, the ground is fertile. The economy is collapsed. There aren't options for young men in Afghanistan. And then the Taliban government is backing terrorist organizations again. This is like we saw before, when Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden were using Afghanistan as training grounds. It's like that on steroids, and they aren't hiding it. One of the groups that they support is the Tehreek-i-Taliban Pakistan. Tehreek-i-Taliban Pakistan. That is why Pakistan has been striking in Afghanistan and in their own Pushtun region, the mountain regions between Afghanistan and northeast. Let me show you. Let's go to the map. Let me show you where we're talking about. So you get an idea. There's Afghanistan. Let's back out so you get an idea where we're talking about in the world. You've got the Middle East, Israel, Jordan, Africa, China up here to the northeast, India to the east of Pakistan. And then you've got this border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. This region to the northwest of Pakistan, in between Kabul and Islamabad, is a mountainous region. And in that region, you have a lot of Pushtun people. They are very much, it's a tribal location, and they are very much being radicalized right now. And you're seeing groups, terrorist groups, springing up, and they're trying to spread into Pakistan. And Pakistan is trying to fight these groups off. And Afghanistan is openly supporting them. So yeah, we're seeing cross-border fighting going on right now. The Pakistani Air Force is hitting Afghanistan, and these radical groups trying to nip it in the bud, try to hit their training camps inside Afghanistan. Hell, they've even, Pakistan denies it was them, but someone's Air Force flew over Kabul and struck Taliban Pakistan's, they're called the TTP. The TTP, they struck some of their leaders in Kabul. Pakistan denies it was them, but yeah, it's happening. It is happening. ET, and they'll try to blame those terrorist things on the left. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When they spread to here, which it will, while Homeland is concerned with ICE. Yeah, because we used to have things like USAID where we helped with things like that. You've got the fighting in Myanmar, you've got the fight. I mean, it's just all over. Things are getting more and more desperate. And when things get more and more desperate, people get radicalized. And the evil among us take advantage. And that is the garden in which terrorism is sown. And experts are absolutely 100% screaming about it. Jerry Anderson, thank you for always being here, brother. I appreciate you. But we've got the Trump administration. And they're idiots. Trump is addled and pudding-brained. And the people he's put in place are not quality people. They're not, Pete Hegseth is not going to be able to big picture this. Little Marco is not a leader. He's not the kind of person. I mean, this is who we've got to rely on, folks. And this is really happening. Afghanistan has slid back in the last, 8 months since we cut off all of our diplomatic, work, everything that we've done. They didn't do these things. Again, I say it all the time because it was Tuesday and they were bored. All of these cuts that you're making are to people that do things for a living for us. And when they don't do them, things like this grow. And then they'll be blowing up buildings in New York. And all we'll get is the right-wing shit posters trying to blame the left, and the right-wing shit posters that are in this government trying to blame the left, and no one having any clue how to deal with the situation, just trying to maintain control so they can keep grifting from the American people, so they can keep stealing. Trump, you got Tom Homan that took $50,000 in a fast food bag. And now he's running ICE. You've got Trump that went from, remember when we used to make fun of Trump because he claimed to be a billionaire, but he was worth under $500,000 and several of his properties were headed towards bankruptcy. And we used to make fun of him for that shit, right? His net worth is estimated to be $7.8 billion now with a B. Where do you think that money came from? Or Whiteside, I'm grateful for you. I really am. I really am. And you'll get the dumbest among us. MAGA, he didn't take his presidential salary. Well, he took a hell of a lot more than that. His teenage kid is going to be on the board of directors of one of our largest social media platforms, taking that paycheck for fucking nothing. That's all these people do is grift and steal and shitpost online. Folks, the world is real. Exactly. Trump RX. Exactly. Meanwhile, the world keeps spinning and real problems do happen, like people blowing up judges' houses and terrorist organizations growing with support in countries that we abandoned because Trump signed one of the worst peace deals, betrayed the government that was in place, screwed our military with an unrealistic, unattainable timeline for leaving because he wanted to create problems for Democrats, because he doesn't really give a shit about anything. And now he's even worse. He's belligerent. He's aggressive. He's angry. Anybody that has dealt with an elderly person that is losing their faculties, that is, whether it's Alzheimer's or, whatever it is, dementia, the hostility just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Josh Jameson, besides it was only 2 years of his pay. Yeah. It was only 2 years of his paycheck, it says. Yeah, folks, it's really happening. We have to do what we have to do. Yes, protest peacefully. Don't give them an excuse. Don't give them that. Narrative is everything. God bless those frogs, those people for taking in the frog costumes, for taking the frog back. For the longest time, the frog was stolen by the groypers and those right-wing fanatics and bigots that follow Nick Fuentes. We have taken the frog back. God bless them for doing that. God bless them. And the way you do it is you mock them. You mock them. Like you heard, they're having a fit about Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl, and they're creating a nice bigoted narrative for all their little offended white people. I've got to listen to Spanish. Why couldn't they have gotten an American, even though Bad Bunny is American? He's one of the most popular singers out there today. So they're going to have their alternative Super Bowl halftime show put on by Turning Point USA. And I want you to know that people have found they've been working on their show. People have found what am I trying to say? I'm tongue-tied. The rehearsals. They found the rehearsals for the Turning Point USA halftime show. And I'm happy to share it with you here. They found we got the Turning Point USA rehearsals going on for their alternative halftime show. You got to love it, man. You got to love it. This is what I'm talking about. This is what mock them. Mock them. Point out the stupidity and the weakness of what they're doing. Mock them. Linda, thank you for supporting the show. Appreciate you. Thank you, Texas Paul. Good show as usual. I appreciate you. That's what we have to do, folks. Get involved. We've got to, the Democratic brain's not completely rehabilitated yet. I need people walking around as proud Democrats. Proud Democrats. Let's get some wind behind these people's sails. Let's go into this midterm election with a lot of momentum. Shaking my head. I've already seen an article online stating there is no evidence of foul play in the judge's house explosion. Yeah, it just blew up. Right. It just, right after she started getting death threats. What a coinkydink. Gregory Brown, they're in trouble when the furries are pissed off. I love it. Narrative is everything. Narrative is everything. They say our cities are hellscapes. You go all over social media. People are like, Paul, what can we do? These are things that you can do. Post a picture. My beautiful American city. I'm sitting having a cup of coffee. Look around at my city and take a short video or take some pictures. Look at my beautiful park in my city. What a great place. Narrative is everything. And they know it. They know it. That's why they will sit there and they will say fictional things. Then you'll get the bots that they pay to come in that will repeat fictional bullshit about Portland's on fire. Portland is not on fire. Portland is a beautiful American city filled with some very cool ass people. I'm telling you, it is a great place. And the fact that, it blew up when Kristi Noem showed up there, it went all over social media that she's looking around and there's a handful of people and a guy in a banana suit. They lost the narrative. So Trump's losing his mind saying deranged shit because they showed him that Portland's on fire. Richard Lawton, 11 so far in our party, going to the No Kings protest, still working on more. Amen, brother. Good job. Good job. Love it. Paulette, appreciate you for always being here. Thank you. God bless that frog in Portland, man. They really started something. I'm telling you, those suits in the protests are beautiful. Talk about controlling the narrative. No, what's ICE going to do at the Super Bowl? Arrest the beer concessions guy? No. That's just that is them running their mouths stupidly again. Stop calling them stupid. Was that rehearsal them trying to get Grindr back in service? Oh my God. And I am not making fun of Grindr or gay people on that. I am not. It's just hilarious that every time you get a big group of Republicans that talk such terrible things about our LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters, that the moment you get a bunch of those Republicans together, Grindr crashes from too much traffic. They're so far in the closet, they're finding Christmas presents. Well, folks, I hope today's show's been useful for you. I hope that you've been motivated. I very much enjoyed doing this show with you. When we can talk about something important, talk about things that are really happening in our country, and just give you motivation to get out there and do the things that you can do. Get involved with your local Democratic Party. Hell, talk to your neighbors, man. Post online the truth. When you hear something awful about how terrible this is or how crime is bad, post great pictures, because the narrative wins the day in politics. It does. And we are going to, folks, they can't help but screw up. They have destroyed our economy, and they're doubling down on it. We saw that Friday. Even the oligarchs are starting to figure out, this is a bad thing. This is a bad thing. This isn't working out like we hoped. Correct? Yes. You got Curtis Yarvin, who's talking about moving out of the country because it's just not working out. Their big fascist takeover that Curtis Yarvin wanted isn't working out. He's already announced he's going to have to leave the country. Folks, enjoy some Texas cities at night.